Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 1 of Dads in Gaming. My name is OctanePro, and I am joined by these two handsome other hosts. We have GlockN9ne and Goldie. How's it going, gentlemen?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're kind of going to work the kinks out here tonight. This is our first pilot episode of a podcast that we've been trying to get to. We've been trying to collaborate on something over the last several months, and this finally kind of squeaked up on us over the last week or so. And so this podcast is very much a podcast that brings together dads with a passion for gaming. So our goal is week in and week out, we're going to talk a little bit about being a dad in the content creation scene, and also the fact of our passions with gaming. So it may go any which way. It may go down a rabbit hole, but that's okay. We have no restrictions. We have no guardrails. We have no bumpers. We are just kind of going to roll with it. So I thought
much being a parent.
Exactly. So I thought what would be good a little bit. I'll throw it over to Goldie. Actually, it's just kind of why don't we allow you to introduce kind of how the three of us met and how we kind of put the show together.
Sounds good. So I met you actually first, Octane, when I first started playing Realm on Mixer. You started coming around. You kind of helped me because I really wasn't understanding what Realm was. You're a day one player, so you started popping in stream and giving me the little pointers here and there, talking about it. And then I think I started seeing you in some other streams of Realm players on Mixer, having some conversations here and there. And that's kind of how our relationship started. And then, I started getting into the Realm world, and I keep hearing this shot, the Glock shot. What the hell is the Glock shot?
Oh boy.
What the hell is this? Everyone's talking about Glock shot. So I Googled it, and then YouTube comes up, and I do that shot every day. Oh, all right. So I go and I find Glock on Twitch, and I see him over there. And then I finally got to actually meet Glock at HRX. And
he was like, he was like stunned to be in my presence, by the way.
I was. And yeah, I had a great conversation with him. I actually asked him for some advice and for professional advice and some Realm advice, and kind of went from there. And then I told him, what the hell are you doing on Twitch? Come hang out with me on Mixer.
There we go. The man's ego is like this big right now after that.
You guys have no idea.
Well, awesome. So pretty much I think the three of us kind of came together based off of Realm in that regard, which I think is a perfect segue. I'll kind of throw it over to you, Glock. What is your kind of gaming history? When did you come into gaming? When did it become more than just a side hobby? And kind of, what platforms are you on? Kind of give us the rundown. Give us the GlockN9ne profile.
Well, I mean, I've been gaming since I was a kid. I can remember playing Super Nintendo when I was like 4. I was even my son's age. But with competitive gaming, I remember playing competitively. Just the only tournaments I really played in was, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive. We played in ESEA leagues. That's what actually led to me streaming. Was I was only streaming to show it off not show it off, but like friends wanted to watch tournaments, so I was streaming for that. And then what made me start streaming was some random guy raided me for like 40 people, and I was like, "This is fun. This is cool. Like chat's actually moving."
Yep.
And then that kind of led, and then Counter-Strike's, gotta be insane at that game to go anywhere. And I found Realm Royale, actually Paladins Battlegrounds is what I found.
Okay.
And got absolutely hooked on that game. That's actually one of the first games I started maining. And
so I might sound like a noob here, but Paladins Battleground, that's where Realm started, right? It started as a Paladins.
It was a game mode inside Paladins.
Okay.
And it was called Paladins Battleground. And if you think it's buggy now, you should have seen it back then.
When I was at HRX 2 years ago, I think, or maybe it was 3 years ago, they actually went ahead and that's when they like announced Paladins Battlegrounds. And so I was there with I remember it was what was his name? Oh my gosh, he's one of the developers now within Smite. And Kret is his name. And so I was there working production, and that's when they actually announced it. Like, okay, Paladins fans, we have this game mode that we're going to let you guys play. So they actually had it there available, and what they were doing was they were allowing like multiple groups of people to play it, and they didn't have any in-game like camera or anything, so they actually had a guy with a camera filming it, and then it was projecting up on a big screen. And myself and Kret got the opportunity to cast it. So we were standing over each other. We were standing over players' shoulders with a microphone, and but one microphone, and casting into it. And the camera was over these players' shoulders. So that's like when Paladins Battlegrounds released. Like that's what it was. And it was,
Wow.
it was character. It was literally, imagine taking like 4 characters from Paladins with their abilities, with everything, and putting them on a team, and then running around a Realm Royale map with just nothing, like no buildings, no nothing. That's what it was.
It was
Sounds
literally
kinda
just
fun.
it was like a grass field. Literally, it's just like a
Yeah.
straight grass field. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So-
the first time I saw Realm was a Ninja playing it was the first time I
Okay.
saw Realm, and I was
Okay.
like, this game looks amazing.
Yep.
You know, I was stuck in that Fortnite world, and as soon as I looked it up, I'm like, oh, it's on PC, because we all know I'm an Xbox player here, and I was just like, oh, well, I guess I'll never get to play this. And then they finally started releasing it on Xbox, and I was all over it.
Nice. So I guess Glock, for you, Twitch was your first streaming platform, correct?
Yeah, so Twitch was my first streaming platform, and then slowly, people saw all the Realm highlight videos on YouTube, and I was actually approached because you always want to make fun of me for having a video editor.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
you guys all know Octane does his own videos. So
Hey,
Just
pat
so-
on the
just so
back.
you guys
That's
know.
right. That's right.
So you guys know. I was approached by my video editor and asked me and he asked, basically used me as a project.
Yeah.
Is he still in school? And I was like, all right, let's do it. So basically, I started reaching out on YouTube. And then I remember, Goldie would wanted to talk to me. See, Goldie takes all the credit. But he doesn't.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on. He doesn't know about the like 3-hour conversation I had with Incision outside the Atlanta airport too.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
I planted the seed.
Goldie
Incision watered it. All right.
No. Goldie planted the seed. Incision watered it, and then Goldie gave me the shove. No, so then Incision basically made a comment, said, why don't you just try and give it a shot one night? And I'll never forget, I was streaming on Twitch, and I was just getting, when Realm was at the state that before it's in now, it was just the people were, it's just toxic, dude. And all honesty, it's like you sit there and you just get toxic people. And I ended up, going, you know what, dude? I ended the stream. I got irritated. Ended stream. Logged into Mixer on Streamlabs, and I fired up my stream. And then the people who already followed me on there were like, "Yo, what the heck?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna test this out, see how it is. Just test it out for this week." I never went live on Twitch again.
Oh, my word.
I'm not even kidding. I've enjoyed Mixer so much that I've never. The only time I went back to Twitch was people were like, "Oh, you should at least go live one time." So you have a VOD there that shows you moving over. So I went live and replayed my announcement of me officially moving like for 10 minutes and then turned it off. I'm not. That's it. I'm not. I love Mixer. It's freaking amazing.
Awesome. What, Goldie, what about you? What's kind of your roster profile rundown for you?
Same as Glock. Super Nintendo. I actually have my Super Nintendo sitting next to me.
Clutch.
I have my N64. And N64 is when I really started the game grind. And then I accidentally went live one day playing Fortnite from my Xbox on Mixer, and that was it. I got stuck. I fell in love. I had this blue screen on my TV and I couldn't figure out what it was. And so I Googled it and I was like, what the hell? Why is this on my screen? I Googled it and then it was like, oh, you're live on Mixer.
Because the way it sets it up from the Xbox.
The way it sets it up from the Xbox. Yeah, it puts a little chat box on your actual TV, but
it was empty.
I'm trying to build. Yeah, it's empty. It's just a blue box. And I'm trying to build and run around. Like, what the hell is this box? So I did a little research and then figured out it was okay. It's Mixer, and then went from there. And then I was playing a lot of Fortnite, a lot of Fortnite, and like I said, I watched Ninja play Realm, and I loved it, and I wanted to try it, and as soon as I heard that it came out on Xbox, I went to every person I knew. Do you got a code? Do you know? Have you heard this game, Realm Royale? Do you have a code? Do you have a code? He was scratching my neck. Hey man, got any more of them codes? And I actually found someone. They had a code. They gave it to me, loaded it up, and I never looked back.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll give my quick rundown since we're kind of going through the list. I started. StarCraft was kind of my passion into gaming, and I started that in middle school, and that went through high school, and then that kind of fell off in college. But once I graduated college, I got really passionate into StarCraft 2. And I was playing it rather competitively. Highest I got was Diamond, which Diamond's very hard to come by, let alone the Masters is like very difficult. And I started to get very involved with the scene and actually got involved with some podcasting then. And that's when I first started to get into content creation. I came across a StarCraft podcast called StarCast, and they were doing it on Twitch, Justin.tv. And it was... They didn't have any overlays. They didn't have anything. And that's just kind of like my cup of tea. And so I was like, give me like an hour and I can make this look much better. And that was that was like my introduction into it. And after that, it was hooked. And it always led with like a production side of things. Like I was always like, all right, how can I make this better? How can I make this better? So then I started streaming StarCraft 2 7 years ago on Justin.tv.
It's been out that long. I'm getting old.
Yeah. So I started there, and I had maybe very few followers, and then Justin TV turned into Twitch, and then that is when I found Smite actually, and I was very involved in the Smite scene. That's actually my high res connection is Smite. And so I started doing Smite, and if you go back on YouTube, you can see I started like in Smite closed beta casting, just casting just VODs, and it was all these like made up teams back then and stuff like that. And then I actually got connected with Drybear, and Drybear didn't even know what Twitch was. He was actually doing content on YouTube, and I was like, hey, why don't you come? Let's do a show together. So I started my first podcast. That's why that made this so easy for me to kind of roll into, called the Smite Update. And it was him and I like on a screen just kind of talking about Smite before it even was released. And then jump ahead, that connected me with High Res Studios, and they started to want me to do their shows on their Smite game channel. And then jump ahead, I ended up Drybear started working for High Res, so I couldn't have him on a show giving like opinionated items and stuff like that. So I pulled on Tom Berenger and Smitten, who are very big names in Smite. And then I was involved in Smite for like 5 years. I was at HRX. I was working on the production team, which was kind of like my bread and butter. And that was a blast every year, going down there, working for them. And then one day I was just like, I'm done with Smite. Like I just was too burnt out. Like 5 years in, streaming it 5 days a week, doing a 3-hour podcast on the weekends, and I was done. And so from there, Smite moved on to like PUBG, and then finally found Realm because I got a closed alpha code from some of the guys that I knew at High Res, and so that got me in very, very early, and then this is where we are today. So still streaming.
You got that kaleidoscope mount?
That kaleidoscope mount? Yes, I do.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I have it too.
Yeah, I was like,
so much right now.
So GlockN9ne can now both call you a noob because you're a youngin in the Realm scene. I mean, come on now.
Everyone complains that they keep releasing old skins, and I really don't care personally because I understand that they're trying to make money. Whatever.
Yep.
But if they release that kaleidoscope mount, that's the one I will say something. I will be in the Realm Partner Discord like, okay, no. This was an exclusive pack. I don't care if Xbox players want to cry or whatever.
All right.
Yeah,
it was exclusive.
Yep.
Well, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about the Obsidian mount. Like that's my favorite mount. That was when I first loaded up Realm. They had the chicken nugget currency.
Yep.
And
yep.
So that mount that's all I wanted. Like I didn't care about anything else. I had to make sure I got the nuggets to get them out. And the day I got it, I remember I felt like I had just beaten the game. I'd beaten everything. I was the champion. I got this obsidian mount. I was so stoked. Fast forward 7 or 8 months later, I go into the shop one day and it's in the goddamn shop, and I was just like, no.
I will comment real quick on this. This is nothing new. So in Smite with high res, in Smite they had a Ymir skin, which was a Twitch Ymir skin. It was their first like Twitch exclusive skin, and it required 5,000 hours of streaming Smite.
Oh wow!
I put that time in. I got that time, and now jump ahead like years later, you could buy that sucker. You gotta be kidding me! Like so when I see it in Realm, I'm like, this is nothing new. Like this is what they do, and so it drives me nuts. But
you said 5,000 hours, and I think I have like 2,600 hours in Realm, and I'm like, holy crap!
And that's over probably like 2 years now. So imagine like 5 years, like that's,
exactly.
Yeah, because when I first started playing Realm, it's always funny when I see people that are like, "Oh, I started when Realm came out." I'm like, "Oh, really? When was that?" And they're like, "Oh, when it hit Steam." And I'm like, Realm was available a year before it even hit Steam.
Wow.
And so when and that was like one of the big things I pushed with Xbox players too, was like when they first started playing it and they were complaining about PC players, I had to tell them like, "Hey, we have a year and a half on you when it comes to Realm. Like we've been playing the game for a year and a half, so like the skill gap and the skill ceiling is going to be significantly different."
Yeah,
so
I actually remember you saying that one night in my chat. So I was hosting a lot of Q snipes for Xbox players, and we'd all queue in with each other and go, and then it started actually before it was just with Xbox, we were forced to play with PC players when it first came out.
Yeah, crossplay was not enabled.
It was you were forced to play with everybody, and I remember you coming in, and it was mostly because my community, being that I am Xbox, was mostly Xbox players. You came in, you're like, "Hey, do you mind if I jump in? I am PC." Yeah, whatever, don't care. You beat the hell out of the lobby, and it was like, "Oh yeah, he's PC." And I just remember you coming back in the chat going, "You guys got to remember, I've been here since day one."
Yep.
She's like, "You bastard."
Yeah.
That Octane's not even that good anyways.
I know, exactly. Hey, for all the viewers out there, some of us play multiple classes. Others of us play one. So my skill set is spread out over 4 classes. Yours is just one.
And right now he's maining Arbalest.
You bet your ass I am.
Hey, can I just point out? I told Goldie I was going to say this on the thing.
All right,
I'm at work, and I'm notorious for going and hiding at work and watching streams. I'm like, I know Goldie's on right now. Let me go just say hi. I pull up his stream. I see he's running a lightning bolt staff. I'm like, this guy is running Thunderstruck lightning bolt staff. How toxic! And then all of a sudden I go, and an Arbalest?
Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
And then he picks up a turret.
Yep.
This man's running healing station, turret, Arbalest, lightning bolt staff with Thunderstruck. I was about ready to unsubscribe to his channel.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
But here's the thing. I hadn't run mage at all. Don't run mage, and someone literally like 5 minutes before Glock came in was like, "Oh, you should really try the mage out. Just see how it goes." I was like, "All right." I run the mage. I literally just killed somebody. I had a gray slug. They had a purple Arbalest. I switched the gray slug for the purple Arbalest, and then here comes Glock. "You're running Thunderstruck with an Arbalest? What?" Wait, whoa.
You're like a one-man army at that point with an Arbalest and Volt Staff and a turret.
It is toxic.
Yeah,
but it's fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. Everyone can tell me about the Arbalest. I'm okay. I know it's gonna be strong. We all saw the patch notes. It's gonna be strong.
Yep.
So I landed in Waterfall. I was like, let me try this out. I landed in Waterfall. I didn't fight it in my first lobby. I didn't fight it with the Arbalest. I was kind of shocked. And then so I landed Waterfall. I got a headshot rune.
Here it goes. You're gonna line it up right here.
And of course I'm running, and someone told me the double trap wasn't fixed, so I had double trap on.
Yep.
And so I loot everything. I kill a bot up in Waterfall. I run down. I get a lightning Arbalest on the first one. I loot some more. I'm like, dude, no one's in Jade. What the heck? And I get my mine. I'm all right, cool. I'm ready to go. And a dude runs up. He's trying to be sneaky. I trap him. Dink dink. I go.
That's just mean.
Like, and not only that, like it was like an insta kill chicken with one shot of the arbalist. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, I should just leave the lobby now. This is wrong.
I swear I'm not cheating. I swear.
No. And then we're like now trying to go for little trick shots and like blinking 360 off and stuff, and then just trying to headshot him from above. And it's like, dude, this is bad. This is bad.
But
absolutely.
I mean, yes, it's overpowered. Yes, it's toxic. But honestly, if you're not playing in a competitive scene at that moment, you're just running around. It's fun. It's fun.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It is so much fun to just be like, hey, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go bully the lobby for a little bit.
Someone else is gonna be doing it, so it's not like you're the only one.
What it is. That's
I was actually shocked that I mean, there's been a couple of games I ran into them, but I mean, me personally, for the most part, I haven't seen too many of them. You might run in one or two.
Yeah,
but for the most part, I haven't seen everyone running them.
The people that I figure aren't running it aren't the realm heads like us, or the people that are like,
or they're just like straight up assassins, and they're just like, I don't play any other class.
Yeah, or they just play realm on a whatever basis, like. So those are the type of people I figure aren't running Arbalist right now, because if you're in part of this community at all, pick up that damn Arbalist because someone else is gonna have it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so the show is very much about gaming, but I thought we would at least touch on, especially about being dads in this type of world. So I'll throw it over to you, to Goldie. Let you take it away.
I'm tired.
Welcome to dad life.
Welcome to dad. Yeah.
Me and Goldie took naps.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I
legit took a nap. I legit took a nap.
I put my daughter to bed at 9, and then I was like, okay, I got an hour to like get everything set up. And meanwhile, it's like, I'm just waking up from a nap, guys. Sorry.
Well, that was my plan, and then I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not streaming tonight. I'm gonna go take a an hour nap. Screw this. It's tough. It's fun. But what's really cool about being a dad and a gamer is sharing that with my kids, that experience.
Mm-hmm.
My dad didn't game.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid growing up, I was either playing by myself or playing if my friends came over, or I was over their house. But today after school, I picked kids up, and being able to play a squad of Realm with them, or squad of Fortnite or Paladins, or any game, it's such a great feeling for me, and I'm sure they might not realize it now, but I hope later in life they'll be able to be like, hey, I got to play video games with my dad, because I'm sure big different,
it's a different world now. It's a different world now versus 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kept my son home on the day of the Fortnite.
That's awesome.
Season 2, he was like, I was like, dude, season 2 or chapter 2 came out, and I'm like, dude, no, you're not going to school today. We're playing Fortnite.
Sick day, sick day,
sick day. So yeah, I mean, so I enjoy it. It is a lot. It is tiring.
How many kids do you have? How old are they?
I have 4. I have.
Oh my god.
My oldest is 6. He just turned 6 New Year's Eve. Then I have 2 4-year-olds, and my youngest will be 2 in April.
Very cool. What about you, Glock?
Yeah.
I got 3. A 5-year-old boy, and then my 2 little girls, 3 and 1.
Wow. I have 3 as well. There will not be a 4th, thankfully. Little snip action took care of that. So thank you, dear baby Jesus. And I have a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 8-week-old. Yes.
Nice.
Good luck with that. Don't forget.
I know. I'm like, quick math.
So you guys got the snip action?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No. I did not. I'm 20 years old, so I got. I told my wife, if we don't have a 4th one by the time I'm 30, that's when my 30th birthday present to myself.
Yeah, I had it. It's actually really funny because I had been in my head planning it out myself since we had our second. Like, hey, I want to do this. Like, I'm good with 2. And I knew my wife wasn't ready to have a third. Like, just kids are a lot of work. No one will ever understand that unless you're a parent. And then, you know, magically a third happens. You know, I don't know how that happens, but a third happens.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know.
Camping trip on the beach is when my third decided to fucking happen.
Damn it. So after we had the third and we were 3/4 the way through, I had told my wife like I want to do this. Like, absolutely, we're having this third. Like, you know, you're due in a few months. Let's do it. So I had it in October, actually. So not too long ago. And I will say, if you decide to do it, the process is not painful. The recovery is what is painful. It's, yeah, let's just say everything turns black and blue. Everything.
I don't have to worry about that. My wife had
she took
all C-sections.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, well, you know, she's open.
While you're in there,
while we're in here, fix it. And it was like, I looked at each other like, I mean, you're ready.
Good for you. Good for you.
So yeah.
It's but what some people, apparently the recovery is like 3 days, and other people like me, it was like 6 weeks.
Whoa.
Where it was just like didn't want to walk because it's just like stitches rub against legs and not comfortable type of deal. So yeah, so let's leave it at that. But all right, cool. So I'll throw it over to Glock. Kind of as a parent, as a father within gaming, how does it work for you? Like what is your schedule day to day? Because as a streamer, it's demanding. So what does that look like for you? You wake up in the morning. What does that look like? Run through your day.
Okay, this always blows everybody's mind. I just had this talk in Discord this morning.
Okay.
In my Discord, I wake up every morning at 2:30 a.m.
Okay.
And I drive an hour to work.
Okay.
I get, you know, and then I try and maybe take like a half an hour nap before work starts.
Okay.
And then 5 a.m. to 1:30 is my work shift. I get home around 2:30.
Okay.
And usually, yeah, you know, the first thing I do is, you know, I go home, shower, throw on some sweats or something. Then I play with the kids for at least a couple hours.
Okay.
Then sometimes I'll take a little nap before stream. You know, it depends on, you know, I've been napping more recently, but I used to never nap. And then I'll stream from, you know, about, I try and get on at 7:30, but if not 8 to at least like 10:30 or 11 p.m. And then I go and I brush my teeth, lay down, and I can't sleep without, you know, watching something on TV real fast. So I'll throw something on Netflix or something like that. I'll fall asleep around 11:45 p.m. and then wake up at 2:30 a.m. again.
Damn. So you pretty much sleep in just like small increments.
Yes.
Small increments.
So if I'm not driving, because you know, ever since my car accident last year, I still don't have a car.
Okay.
So I carpool.
Oh, nice.
You know, sometimes I drive, you know, my brother's car, you know, so they can sleep. So I used to never be able to sleep in the car, and now it's like we're not even. I'll get in the car with my brother, and we're not even off my street yet. I'm just like. And he's like, "Hey, did you hear me?" I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Up too late last night?" Yep.
So do you find the weird sleep schedule ever catches up with you, where you're like a day and you're like, I can't stream, like I gotta sleep.
There's times, and people usually know that, like if I make an announcement on Twitter or Discord, like, hey guys, I'm not gonna stream tonight. You know, I'm a little bit tired. Everyone knows, because I just had like 3 weeks ago. I've been, you know, I deal with, you know, headaches and you know, backaches and stuff like that from the car accident. And it just put me out one weekend. No sleep, aching pains. I literally slept the longest I've ever slept in my life. It was like 14 hours.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I passed out with a headache, and my wife just let me sleep, and I was out.
That's awesome. Now, does your wife kind of support? Would you consider this a hobby? Is this a part-time job? Kind of what does it fall under for you?
So, I think it's funny. I just had these conversations with someone else. I'm already prepared. No, so when it first started, it was a hobby. It's been really hard. You know, it was really hard to, you know, I think anyone that starts streaming, they find it very hard to explain to people like what it is. And I think Goldie said one time too, like, you know, we all say this is a hobby, but you know, when you start getting into it as deep as we are, this is your business. This is a
absolutely.
As I always tell people, it's a brand. You're growing a brand.
So when I first started, it was a hobby and it was just for fun and whatever. And then once you start seeing success and, you know, stuff like that, and you know, I think my motivation really didn't happen until HRX, and I want to say this, without sounding big headed, but no, but literally, I mean, walking around HRX and you have, somebody. And I totally thought this was a setup and a joke. When we're on the red carpet, Goldie, remember the little red carpet that was right there?
Yes, yeah.
When you have a 10-year-old girl walk up to you and ask if you're a GlockN9ne and ask you to sign an autograph for them, you're like, I looked at Incision and I go, yeah, right. And then she's like sitting there. I'm like, wait, you're serious?
Is this for reals?
Like, wait, where's Goldie? Did Goldie put you up to this?
This is a $40 T-shirt, right? I'm about to ruin.
Yeah, with this damn marker. You want me to write my name on there?
But and then like you meet certain people that aren't, there's people there that weren't streamers that were like, excited to meet you, and you're like, okay, this feels kind of cool. This kind of motivated me to keep going in this. Yeah. And my wife said, she told me that she's seen a different, person when I came back from HRX. Like, now I truly see it as I truly now see it as a brand, part-time job, something I would love to pursue.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. So I'm going to flip it over to you, Goldie, a little bit there. How does it work in your household? Because I know things are flipped a little bit, a little untraditional. So give us the rundown of just kind of how your day-to-day looks like. And is this a hobby? Is it part-time? What is this for you?
So it's a little bit of everything, but I do treat it like a business. Because at the stage I'm at now, because of where I wanted it to be, I had to treat it like a business. But my typical day, kind of like Glock, I mean, I don't have an hour drive. I have a 3-step walk from my bedroom door to my office chair.
You're my idol.
I did that for 2 months when I was on disability.
Yeah.
My morning commute was from my bed to my computer. I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you guys stop for coffee on the way into work?
It's right in the middle, right halfway. You already have it set up and you pour it and get to the computer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. My commute. If anything, if you want to consider my commute, it's a 30-second drive to bring my kids to the bus stop and then drive back.
Okay.
But yeah, so my day starts. My kids normally start waking up around 5:30, 6 a.m. So that's when I start waking up, and it becomes more like a broken sleep from about 5:30 to about 7:30, 7:30. I get up 7:30, start getting them ready, help my wife get them ready because she's getting ready for work. Then they're off to school by 8:15. Get back in the house, get my other daughter situated, get her set up, get her breakfast, start getting, doing some chores, because I am home, so I have to do, some stuff.
So if you guys haven't realized, he's a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, I am a stay-at-home. Figure to throw it out there. Yeah. Thank you, Octane.
You're welcome.
So from there about 9 a.m. I go live. I'm live from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I have to get the kids off the bus at 3:30. So I try and get off by 3 just to be safe. Then I'm home with them until my wife gets home around 5:30. Then I get like a half hour, 45-minute like separation from everybody.
Nice.
Because my daughter is with me, even though I am streaming. I mean, those that have watched. She's on my lap, off my lap, crying, falling, screaming, yelling, so pooping, hungry. So I mean, I am doing a bunch of stuff while streaming. So, and then when they do get home, then I have all 3 of them. Now, one of my other daughter, Haley, she goes to a separate daycare. So my wife brings her to it's a preschool, but she brings her there and she picks her up. So I don't have her throughout the day.
Okay.
My wife gets home. I go and do my own thing for a half hour, 45 minutes. Sometimes it's a nap. Sometimes it's just sitting outside. When it gets warm, I am in New York, so right now it's cold. But when it gets warm, I'll sit outside for a half hour.
Sweet.
Come back in, have dinner, get everybody down, and then I'm live again at 8 o'clock. And I go until about 2:30 in the morning, 2:30. So sometimes last night was until 3, and then I was like, oh my God, I gotta go to bed. And like Glock said, he can't go to sleep unless he watches something. I can't go to sleep unless I have my whole day planned out the next day, what game I'm playing.
Cool.
So in my mind, I'm laying in bed for a half hour, just like, okay, I gotta make sure I go over this and do this and do this. And then it starts all over again. And
Oh, I
it's
gotta
Damn.
point out when I said I had my TV on, usually it's actually me like listening to TV and on my phone making my tweets and stuff like that. And then my wife like looks over and goes, "You know it's like midnight right now, right?" Oh yeah, that's right. Good night.
Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's what it is too. And it's kind of like what Glock said with the tweet. Like I might get off at 2 o'clock, but then I've been streaming for the last 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm kind of seeing social media, but I'm not really trying to focus to my phone and what's going on. So
Mhm.
now I have a half hour of catching up for the last 6 hours on social media,
Yeah.
whether it's on my posts or other people's posts, or because I'm a very strong believer, to be successful in this business, streaming does not start with the, go live
Yep.
and stream button.
Yeah.
It's, social media is a huge part of it. So I'm always trying to be on there and put some time towards that. This did start as a hobby to keep myself sane and not talking to kids all day, to have some type of adult interaction. And then once I started seeing it turn into something, I immediately was like, hey, I'm not bringing any income into this home right now because I am being a stay-at-home dad.
Yep.
This will be my way to
contribute,
right?
Yeah.
But at the time, like, I still wasn't making money. All right, if I'm going to do this, like, I really have to like grind this out for as much as I can to get to the point where, okay, I'm at least making, and I'm still not. To make money in this business, your name has to be Ninja or Shroud, and that's the only way it works.
Yep.
But
yep.
Yeah. So
Cool.
That's what about you? What's your day-to-day?
So when
You're
I
on the up,
yeah, I'm on the opposite side a little bit. Like years ago, like, because I've gone through AutoPro transitions. Like, I've gone through a year hiatus where I'm like, I need to walk away from this because I'm the type of person that I can't do something just to do it. Like, I get too addicted to it. So for me, I've had many situations where I'm like, dude, like, I'm going to work, and then like there were times when I would go to work, come home, put the kids to bed, and then stream for 8 hours, and then like barely any like. And I've had that before, and so I've stepped away multiple times from streaming. So even though I could say, hey, I've been streaming for 7 years, it's like 7 years, but I've had hiatuses. I've cut back to 1 day a week. I've grinded 7 days a week, and so where I am now is very different. I came to the recollection not too long ago that like this has to be a hobby because this will never surpass what I make. I'm an executive at a company, so I make very good money. So this will never surpass that in a million years. It's just not going to happen. So for me, I'm getting up every day at 6:30, getting showered, getting ready to go out the door. My kids are getting up about 7 right before I walk out the door. I then have an hour commute to work. Once I get, of course, stopping for coffee on the way during my hour commute, 2 cups of coffee before I even hit my desk.
Oh, man.
So, hey, you heard that? He's an executive, so he gets to go buy coffee.
Yeah.
Me and Goldie have to make our coffee.
Well, I gotta.
Exactly.
I do have a Keurig in my office for my 3rd cup of coffee at 2 o'clock.
Flex right there, dude.
Yeah. Oh, so
I'm waiting for him to say he sends out his assistant to go get him his
No.
4th cup of coffee.
someday.
For my 5th coffee, my assistant goes and
That's
gets
right.
it.
Right. So
Decaf only.
yeah, right. So I am in a position in technology. I'm a director of a company of technology, so I have people that work for me. So the benefit of my situation and how I stay, this is kind of going back to what Goldie said, how I stay plugged in is when I go to work, it's not 9 hours at work and being unplugged. I post on Twitter. I posted pictures of my work setup. Like, one of my monitors is dedicated to Twitch at all times. So I got Twitch up. I got TweetDeck up. And then I got like email and Slack up as well. And so throughout my day, I am checking out streams. Stopped in Goldie's chat earlier today. Keeping up to date with the games I play, with the people I follow, keeping up on social media, which is nice. And then I can remote into my home PC and I'll do some graphics from time to time, or I can't do a video editing, but I'll do odd and end stuff there. So like, just as Goldie had said, like, when you're building a brand, big or small, whatever it is, it's like, it doesn't start and stop with the live stream. It's,
Right.
We've talked about it here. It's YouTube videos, it's social media, it's giveaways, it's networking, kind of like what we're doing here. It's a little bit of everything. And so it is that job. So I work until 4:30. and then I head home, another hour head home. But a lot of the times I'm heading home to take my kids to Taekwondo or to another event, and so having dinner, putting the kids to bed. So I'm not touching streaming until 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is my time. Everybody's in bed. My wife's in bed. Like 9 o'clock is my time. So I don't stream it as long and as often. I might stream 9 to midnight on a good day. So it's 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. And as both of you guys know, after 2 hours, you're just getting the wheels turning. You know, you're just starting to pull people in. But it's one of those things where I've had to come to the realization, because I would stream to like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'm up at 6:30 with an hour commute, and it was like you're getting tired at the wheel, or like super frustrated at work for no reason, for lack of sleep or headaches.
Oh God.
Headaches or stuff like that. So it's just one of those. It's just one of those things where it's just like coming to the recollection that like this will always be a hobby. And so like I tell people in my chat, like I'm like, don't subscribe to me, subscribe to someone else. Like just follow. That's all I need. Like just follow. And so between that and YouTube, because what I'll do is I'll stream till like 11:30, and then recently, especially with all the news in Realm, I'll then spend a half hour recording and then another hour getting that video out, because with YouTube everything is a freaking race. Like everything is a race.
Oh yeah.
So like the rule of thumb when you're releasing content is to release it right about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. A little bit later, 1 o'clock. It's actually between 1 and 3 is what the stats say if you're going to put something out on YouTube. But I've been releasing it at I've been releasing it at 1 in the morning, because I'm like, well, I'm going to get it out there. People still on the West Coast are still doing stuff. By the time people wake up on East Coast, they see it. Foreigners are going to see it very, very shortly after that. So it's like, I just don't have the time, but it's content. It's a full competition. I mean, it's always a I mean, you can't tell me that when you're streaming, you're not seeing who else is streaming. You're not kind of working your schedule around that to capitalize on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you actually said that, because that's one thing that a lot of people don't bring up. It is a competition.
Yeah.
This is a competitive, it's a business. It's a competitive business. And it's one of the most competitive, besides actually, because we are playing a game, and yes, and do stream without playing game, but it is one of the biggest competitive businesses where at one moment you're top of the game, the next moment you're not. And it's finding that timing and just seeing who's doing what, when they're doing what. I mean, not to give away any of the secrets, but one of the big thing is especially if you're somebody that plays multiple games, I feel like you should be definitely seeing what streamers are playing that game at those times. So if they're a bigger streamer than you on those nights, don't play that game.
Sure.
Play that game when that person's streaming it, and build, especially when you're first starting off, build your schedule around that. And when I started doing that, that's when I started seeing growth, because this person is not on right now playing. They're playing, PUBG, and normally when they're on playing Realm, I'm getting buried by them. But now I'm gonna go play Realm.
Sure.
Or now they're playing Realm. Okay, I'm not gonna play Realm tonight. Then I'm gonna go play PUBG or whatever, and flip the schedule on that on those people, and that's when I started seeing growth.
Yeah.
No one else better be doing that to me though. Just throwing that out there.
That's why he plays Realm in the morning and then Apex at night, just so you know.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
I was gonna say, with it being competitive. I made a comment on Twitter not long ago, and there was some people that took it in the wrong context. No. It was about with how many thousands and thousands of streamers are out there.
Yep.
I'm not asking you guys to answer. I'm just saying, for anyone that streams, think to yourself, why should somebody watch you?
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
So if me and Goldie are streaming at the same time, why should you watch him over me or me over him?
Yep.
Because of his sexy beard.
I agree. I shade mine. I hate it.
He didn't want to compete. He didn't want to compete.
I bowed out of the beard challenge. No, but you think about it. Like,
you're right.
Like people always say, "Oh yeah, I watch my VODs," but how many people actually do watch their VODs and see what they do and see what they're doing wrong? And and then you said timing is everything. Like I can remember I streamed Realm for like 6 or 7 months, like with 2 viewers in it.
Yep.
And then finally, and as much I still I still cringe like when Goldie brought up the whole Glock shot thing earlier. I told Crippler about this at HRX. So he asked how it started. I said, dude, someone in my chat made a joke. Someone took that joke and went to someone else's chat.
Yep.
And then they kind of, and realistically, they just talk crap about it the whole time.
Yep.
But that actually helped me out, and people started going and checking me out, seeing me do all these snipes and doing this, doing that. And I actually got where I was at because someone was talking crap about me.
Yep.
That's the best kind.
That's it. Yeah.
And you know, and then I went and made a YouTube video just for that guy. No, but you know, like I said, I told Crippler, you know, anyone that plays Realm, they've seen, you know, the old school players, you know, Kefri and DeFran and Void doing all these crazy snipes, doing conch snipes, whatever. It just so happened that my name rang with that,
Yep.
and I rode the wave and got my name out there. And actually, technically, you know, most of the community, either whether you hate it or love it, people know what you're talking about. And it took 6 or 7 months, and like I said, someone talking crap, you know, got my name out there.
Yeah, no,
not saying go be toxic. That's how it works. Don't go be toxic. I'm just saying it took someone to bring that to somebody else, and that's what happened. And it's very competitive, and it's very hard to get discovered.
Very cool. But I agreed, and that's something that I've always believed in. Like, what am I doing that's gonna bring somebody to watch me over someone else? So when I remember that tweet, it was actually it's a great food for thought. Like, people are always like, oh, no one wants to watch me. Like, I see these tweets all the time, or on Facebook, and, you know, in different communities, like, oh, I don't understand why I don't get any viewers, or no one hangs back. Well, what are you doing to bring them back? Why should I come watch you over the other, you know, 30,000 streamers? Or even if you want to break it down, why should I watch you play Fortnite over the other, you know, 500 streamers or 5,000 streamers? Or why should I watch you play Realm over the other 5 streamers, whatever? But no.
No, you're absolutely right. I think that is something that over the last several years of streaming, it's very much one of those things where it's like when I chat with people, especially newer streamers, and unfortunately the way that streaming works now, it's either you're a competitive player and you're insanely good at a game, or you're an entertainer. It's very hard to kind of play the field in between that. So it's like, for me, I've always recognized the fact that, like, I'm an entertainer. Like, I stream to people, and I have an audience of people that are there to be entertained. I'm not the funniest guy in the world, so I can't go fully that way. I'm not the best player in the world, so I can't go that way. But you're absolutely right. When you're talking with people and you're discussing streaming, it's like, why is someone watching you? Like, what makes you any different? Because especially nowadays, and that same theory applies to YouTube. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to put a video up on YouTube of gameplay. It's like, you're not going to get anything from that, because there are a bazillion videos of a guy playing with a sniper rifle on Realm Royale or whatever game you want to play. So it's like, what makes your videos different? It's like, if it's just the same thing, it's gameplay. Sorry, but it's not going to be successful. Start a new channel, just throw gameplay up, and that's it. There's no way you're hitting the mark with that. So it's like, what makes you different? And that's what's worked for me on YouTube over the last, I'd say, 3 months. It's just the fact of, like, what can I do that's different than everyone else? I can put up gameplay of me playing Realm Royale, but it's like, I'm gonna play an assassin. Great. Well, guess what? You got GlockN9ne over here, who's a significantly better assassin than I am. Watch him. Don't watch me. Types of situations. So it's very easy. Like, you got to stand out, and that's what makes it most competitive. It's like, if you look at the Realm streamers, man, 99% of those Realm streamers you've never heard of before, because they just sit on camera and play Realm, and it's the end of the day. And so absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's I didn't understand that concept at first. The first time I applied for partnership on Mixer, I was denied. I was playing a little bit more Fortnite. I just started getting into Realm.
Okay.
So my numbers started boosting a little bit, not much, but if you were to look at my stats and everything, it showed I was technically a Fortnite player, streamer. And you know, if you're gonna play Fortnite, you have to have some serious numbers. But one of the things they came back to me in saying was, you know, what's your brand? Like I had a brand, you know, I had the DarthxGoldyLox and you know, the whole Star Wars thing, but what was my brand? What was me? And I talked to a few people within my community that I, started becoming close with, and someone said, dude, like I watch you because it's enjoyable. I'm watching you more to watch you play with your kids. Like, I'm not watching your gameplay. Like, not to be an ass, but you suck at games. And I do. So, but I needed them to say that to me. And it was like, okay, I get it now. It goes back to what you're saying. You're either a competitive player or you're an entertainer. And once they said it to me, I'm like, okay, so this guy's telling me, they're watching me more because of the stuff that's going around around me. And that's why I don't use a green screen. Yeah, because people want to see what's going on around. And I was like, oh, and if you ever been in my chat, one of my bots is called the Daddy Daycare bot. And that's when it started. And after that conversation, I went and changed the bot. It used to be the Darth bot. That's what it used to be. And I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go that route. So it became the Daddy Daycare bot. I started focusing more on, getting my kids on camera and, and then dealing with when I would have to go change diaper, I'd go to a be right back screen. And then I was like, no, not that I'm showing you on camera changing a diaper, but no, I'm going to get up and go do it. You're going to do everything started changing once I understood that branding concept. And then I started getting better at Realm, and then I did get on the competitive scene, especially on the console side. And I think between the two meshing together during the day was, dealing with the kids, and those were my warm-up games. And then at night for the second stream, I have no kids; they're all sleeping, and then it was full competitive, full blown.
So you're popping off at night, huh? That's Apex. All right. What are you laughing at over there, Glock? You got something going on.
Funny.
No. This is why you should have a third monitor. I just read something. I can't say it. I'll tell you guys at the end.
Well, very cool. So we were going to have an entire section at the end of this show about Realm, because Realm Royale is a game that has kind of connected us all together. But the fact that the show's going long, we decided, hey, we'll just put it off to another week. Not a big deal. I mean, there's no pressure or anything like that. We talked a lot about Realm this week anyway.
I think that's going to be a pretty long conversation anyways. And the only thing you say is I was happy that in the Realm, did you guys see the Realm partner Discord where I said, okay, this needs to be hotfixed now? And then they said, we are looking at it, quickly get a hotfix out there. So we'll see by the next episode if they fix it or not. Like I said on the tweet today that, I think this show is great. We have 3 very opinionated people, and I think we all have different opinions on Realm and what's going on. So that's going to be a very long conversation.
That needs to be just right off the bat.
I feel like this one, need everybody to see what they're all about, and let's get into the head-to-head. Episode 2.
I like it. So on episode 2, guys, we're still figuring things out. We don't know. This probably won't be a weekly thing, probably a bi-weekly at this point, as it does impede on some streams and schedules and stuff like that. But we'll have to see kind of where we end up from here. Where our goal is, of course, to get this on YouTube, so it'll be spread across YouTube on multiple different channels. But then Goldie's going to be working on actually getting the audio version out. So if you're like, hey, you guys getting this out there, there's a huge audience, from what I have learned and been a part of, that listens to the audio version. It's on the way to work in the car. It's at work. It's on the train. On an airplane. People are listening to things a lot, and so there are a boatload of platforms out there. So if there is and this is more for the YouTube audience, that if there is a platform for the podcast that you'd love to see the audio version, just leave a comment, let us know, so that we can kind of put our attention towards that. We're going to try to get it on as many as we can. Before we head out for tonight, I think we go around the table and just kind of let people know where they can find you on social media, your stream. I'll throw it over to you first, Glock.
Mainly Twitter, Instagram, all at GlockN9ne. I even have an OnlyFans page, and I'm not kidding, but I don't post on it. I just reserve my name in case streaming.
I'm waiting for the feet pics.
I have the OnlyFans page just in case streaming doesn't work out. All right?
Oh, there you go. Do what you got to do.
YouTube, pretty much any social platform on it, TikTok, all that stuff. Even though I don't TikTok, but I have one.
Nice, awesome, cool. And what about you, Goldie?
Yep, mostly Twitter, at DarthxL. Some jabroni already has at DarthxGoldyLox.
Oh, man.
I had to pay $20 for mine.
So, yeah, so at DarthxL on Twitter, and then on Twitter, DarthxGoldyLox on YouTube, DarthxGoldyLox, and I mean it's right there. Right?
There you go. Can't miss it. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. For me, it's on all platforms. It's OctaneProTV. So that's your Twitch. It's your YouTube. It is your Twitter. Find it all on there if you're interested. On whatever platform that you guys as the viewers are watching this or listening to this on, make sure you smash that subscribe button if you've enjoyed the content. Give it a thumbs up, and then all of us are interested in your comments on the show. If you found a topic you're interested in, you want to hear more about, you have a topic recommendation, leave it in the comments. We'd love to add it to a future show, and of course, give us some positive or negative feedback, and we would appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is fun. I'm excited.
Hearts right there. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and head out. Thank you guys very much for joining the three of us. We'll see you next time. Take care.